for the tasting green. Okay, it's very important because one wrong step, and a lot of times, take that off. All right, a lot of times what will happen is you're going to have, I like to call them scrambled vanilla eggs. Okay, not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it can't be some new invention, but it's not going to look very attractive with your product. Okay, so that's why I want to make sure everybody sees it. A lot of times what I do is I go against the grain when it comes down to the actual recipe. Okay, in terms of procedure. So please make sure we see what's going on. All right. So I got half a bean. All right. I got sugar, cornstarch, milk, butter. All right. And you got egg yolk. All right. All right. So now I got 16 ounces of milk. I'm going to pour half my milk into my pot. All right. Flip it on, medium low heat. All right. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to take half my sugar, add it in. The rest goes in my bowl. Everybody with me? Yes, sir. Half the milk, half the sugar. Half the sugar, all of the cornstarch in the bowl. All right. What I'm going to do is separate the egg. Always say the egg white. You know that? Three. Four. And five. All right. So, now, with the remaining milk, you are going to make a slurry. Slurry is what? Anybody? You? Slurry.
Yeah.
Cornstarch and water. Right. All right. Well, with this slurry, you've got cornstarch, sugar, and milk. The whole idea is to what? Thicken up the cream, right? Your egg yolks are going to help bind it, all right? The cornstarch is your thickener, and all we're going to do is make a slurry. So I pour it in. Stir it up just a little. All right? No lumps. Alright, now with my vanilla bean. Once again, scrape out the middle. Add it in. Alright, so everybody's with me. Half the milk, half the sugar. Vanilla bean is in the pot. Alright. So you got vanilla bean in there. Stir it up a little. Alright, so it's going to come up to a simmer. You got your slurry in here. No lumps, no grain. All right.
Bigger question. Why not just the
Of the meat? Well, the whole notion is that that's where all your flavor is, in all honesty. The inside is where your seeds are, but I think I told you guys last week that these are saved now because they can be put into like a coffee grinder and they can be turned into vanilla powder, which is still just as good and it's actually cheaper than the actual meat. Okay? So now, 5 egg yolks go into the slurry. Alright. 5 egg yolks are in the slurry. Nice smooth slurry. Everybody good? Alright, so we got simmer, slurry. So now, let me cut off now, as this starts to heat up, what's going to happen? We're going to temper hot cream or hot milk into the egg yolk. Once you get it tempered in, it goes back into the pot. You're going to continuously whisk once you get everything back in the pot. Okay? Reason being, we're making a custard. Definition of custard, anybody?
thickened by coagulation.
Right. Any liquid thickened by the coagulation of egg protein. Okay? So you're going to have to consistently whisk it. If you don't, your eggs will scramble. And this is what I mean by having sweetened vanilla eggs. Okay? You got to make sure that you keep it moving. Alright? The other thing is you're going to consistently whisk it until it gets to custard stage. Custard stage is generally 185. Alright? Once it gets to custard stage, we'll take it off. We'll whisk in a little bit of fat. Fat always goes into everything. Alright? Gives it texture and gives it cheese. Caddy. Let me have a chinois or a shot. You got a strainer back there? Alright? So once it gets to custard stage, you take it off and then you set it aside. We're going to let it cool down while I make up the tart course. Alright? I add the butter while after I take it off the stove. Did we blow a fuse? What's wrong? The butter's going to melt from the heat.
What's the difference between going like that and just having another half of sugar and before start to break the egg and scalding all the milk?
If you scald all the milk at once, you don't have anything to turn that into a slurry. If you try and temper this, all your liquids into your dry ingredient, your cornstarch, it's going to clump. And you'll have little small bits of cornstarch all throughout your pastry. So you make a slurry out of it first, dilute it, just like if you were doing stock. Don't you usually make your stock? Alright? You want to keep it as smooth as possible. Okay? And you want to keep it as, keep it attractive. Just like when we talked about making the pat of choux, I told you to sift the flour. Reason being, if you don't, you'll bite into it and you'll see what? Little pockets of flour inside your pat of choux. So all those little things like that make a difference as opposed to you trying to just do it all in one shot. Alright? So, what I'm going to do, alright, I'm going to strain it in. Borrow your hand. Do a little stir. You whisk it. The whole reason behind straining your vanilla is to get the veins out. When you scrape the middle of the bean, you'll pull out some of the veins. So you want to strain it. Alright, so I'm going to take that. So now we go back on the stove. Whisk until it turns something. Alright, consistently whisk. Make sure you get your corners, the creases of your pan. And as you stir, you'll start to feel it thicken up. Oh, my camera guy would. All right, so we're constantly whisking. And it starts to thicken up. You can feel it as you're whisking. Don't be, the biggest thing is don't have your heat up too high. What will happen is this will get away from you. Once the heat starts to rise on the eggs, they will continue to rise, and if you aren't careful, they will scramble and get away from you. As you stir it, you start to see the eggs thickening up. They're starting to coagulate on the bottom. Once they start to coagulate, make sure you continuously stir. Now's not the time for you to stop. Arm gets tired, none of that. Also, if you need to, turn your heat down. Alright, I'll move away from the heat, this will be on the safe side. You start to see it thicken up. Alright, everybody can look in there. So now you've gone from a liquid to custard stage. Alright, pudding. You just made vanilla pudding. Does that make sense? Use vanilla wafers from yeah, technically, that is banana pudding. Alright, butter goes in while it's in the pan. Reason being, you can chase it all around this pan with no problem. Okay? A lot of times recipes will tell you to put your custard into a pan to cool it down. and then you fold in the butter. Okay, well, here's the thing. You don't fold in fat, you emulsify fat. Okay? So there,
How much butter?
1 ounce.
1 ounce.
1 ounce of butter. What does the butter do? Anybody? No flavor.
Helps keep it together.
I was going to say, that's what the egg yolk's for, though. It's a binding agent.
What's the butter do? Anybody? It actually,
Sheen.
it makes it shiny.
It's like you do it with sauce. Put it on top of the sauce. Gotcha.
Does the sugar do what? No. Sugar sweetens it up. The whole purpose of the butter is to make it shiny. And it adds texture. That's it. Take it for what it is. It was the last thing to go in.
Think of a normal sauce. You know, you put the
Alright.
butter on to keep it from forming the skin, and it gives it shine. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. No.
Alright.
It's called something else.
Now, something to keep in mind. Please remember, very important. I said to you, you notice that I did not stop with it. It's very important because the reason behind it is that if you do, you'll give the egg a chance to scramble. Once it scrambles, it's toast. Okay? So that's why I tried to make sure everybody saw that I didn't stop whiskey at all. Okay? There is your tasting. Okay? Alright, the other thing to look in there is that there's no what? Scorch mark. There's no scorching in there. Alright, if you stop and you allow your product to sit, it will scorch. Alright? Fix it first. Not good, so if you look at it, well, the only purpose that butter serves is now you can see that it's shiny tasting.
Will it help to make cream?
Huh?
Will it help to make
It helps with texture, yeah. Yep, you're right, the vanilla wafers are...
You can use that to make it like a base for banana pudding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good.
Alright, so, what we do is, the other thing to keep in mind, we'll put some plastic wrap right on top, so that we don't do what? Get a film on it, right, it doesn't form a skin. We'll put it in the cooler, and we're gonna let it set up for about 15 minutes. Once it sets up, we'll pull it out, and we're gonna turn it into our fruit tart. Alright, so, plastic wrap goes right on top.